Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am Joey Francis, your life, love, and relationship coach. Thank you so much for joining me. Are we loving the right way? Essentially, the 5 love languages. Now, being online, I've noticed more and more that people are putting more weight into the idea of love languages. Now, I only know that because some people talk about it, but I see it a lot on people's profiles on dating sites. Now, I don't know if it's because they are putting more weight into this or if it's just something to, put on their profile, just some random information. Now, I personally can't remember it being all that important prior to this, online dating boom. Even though its creation happened back in 1992 by a Baptist pastor, no less. And I do believe he is a psychologist or a therapist or a doctor of some sort. So, psychiatrist, maybe one of those things. Nonetheless, he learned this or discovered it through his work advising couples. And essentially, he determined that each person has a primary and secondary love language. And the way that he would determine this was to observe how they expressed love to one another. No kidding. But also observe what they complained most about and what they would request from their partner. See, he theorized that people naturally gave love in the way they wanted to receive it. The golden rule, something that we're taught as kids. And in figuring this out, along with better communication, this leads to better loving partnerships. Again, no kidding. Here is the example of how this works right off of Wikipedia. So an example would be if a husband's love language is acts of service, he may be confused when he does the laundry and his wife does not perceive that as an act of love, viewing it as simply performing household duties because the love language she comprehends is words of affirmation, verbal affirmation that he loves her. She may try to use what she values, words of affirmation, to express her love to him, which he would not as value as much as she does. If she understood his love language and mowed the lawn for him, he perceives it in his love language as an act of expressing her love for him. Likewise, if he tells her he loves her, she values that as an act of love. So simply put, what we think love is how we want to give and receive it. And obviously, everybody's going to end up being different, just like in this example here, right? Now, if they actually knew what their love languages were, then she would mow the lawn. Again, off of Wikipedia, this is not me. She would mow the lawn for him, and he would perceive that as an act of love, and he would be more verbal. Again, this communication thing, it keeps coming down to it. And you guys know how I hammer this into your heads that communication is so damn important. Okay, back to the podcast off my tangent. If he would communicate verbally to her more, she would appreciate that. Now, granted, this isn't the end all be all. It's just another tool that we can use to help each other, give each other what we may need. Because see, since it's discovery, this is the thing. So many studies have been done on this now. Now there's going to be studies that agree, there's going to be studies that disagree, and there's even studies that just like take this concept and then build on top of it. So again, it's not like the golden ticket to figuring somebody out. But nonetheless, for those of you who do not know what the 5 love languages are, let's cover them now. So let's start off with physical touch. And granted, it is more than what you're thinking, okay? I get it. Sex is important in relationships. Absolutely. 1,000,000%. But this is more than that. This is holding hands. This is hugging. This is cuddling, putting your arm around someone. This is essentially letting someone know how close you really are to them by touching them and being very close to them. It's that closeness that they desire and makes them feel safe and comfortable. Words of affirmation. And it's literally exactly what it sounds like. And there's probably a lot of literalies in this anyways. But it's you telling someone how you feel and that you love them and appreciate them, using verbal communication, using your words. And again, you know how much I find that important to be. That, like, you would literally die without proper communication. Acts of service, just like in the example, if someone feels love through acts of service, they love when you do something meaningful for them. House chores, walk the dog, fill the tank up with gas. Granted, that could technically be gifts, but the act of going to get gas for someone, like taking your partner's car out and going to fill it up with gas so that they don't have to do it, because nobody really likes to do it, right? Quality time. And it's very simple. Just give someone your undivided attention. That's it. That's all that it is. Whether it's doing something that they want to do or sitting down and watching their favorite show with them, it's giving them like the not really the knowledge, but giving them that feeling that you are 100% present, not screwing around on your phone, not like taking a nap, actually being present for them, with them, whether it be just talking, doing an activity, watching TV, whatever the case is, doing it for them. And last but not least, gifts. Now, do not get this wrong. This is about giving someone meaningful and thoughtful gifts that symbolize appreciation and affection. This isn't about being able to buy your way out of an argument or buy your way out of the doghouse because you did something wrong. This isn't about buying love or buying someone's love, because, you know, there's a lot of people out there that get this mistaken and they think, oh, I want to find somebody that buys me expensive things and that's how they love me. And it's like, well, no, you're just really greedy. But yeah, anyways, moving on. So those are the 5 love languages. So now we know what they are, or now you know what they are. What do we do with this knowledge? Well, if, again, you're new to all of this, you need to figure out which love languages are you, which ones are your primary and secondary, as the discoverer figured out. And this is the thing, you're going to have to dig deep. This isn't going to be surface level. Now, I personally believe that we appreciate all 5 love languages to some degree. I mean, think about it. If, let's just say, your love languages were physical touch and your secondary was words of affirmation. So those are the 2 most important. But your partner or girlfriend or boyfriend came to you one day, came home, whatever the case is, and bought you a very thoughtful gift, something that you were talking about, or something that reminded you of them, and they just bought it for you and gave it to you. Even though gifts is not your love language, you're still going to appreciate it. You may not feel the same amount of love as if they were touching you or praising you verbally and telling them how much they love you, but you can still see like that act and say like, oh, you know what? That's really sweet that they did this for me. Right? Now, like with acts of service, I understand how it can get a little misconstrued, because it's like, you know, we live in the same house. I did laundry and it's me trying to show you that I love you. Like, again, the Wikipedia example. And it's sort of like, okay, well, we do need clean clothes. And granted, if the other person is the one that usually does the laundry, it's like, oh, thanks, you actually chipped in today, and even though they're trying to show you that, hey, I love you, I did the laundry, it's a little, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. But nonetheless, I do believe that all five are important. And it's more about the order that we put these into. Now, see, here's the thing. Is it something that we resonate with, or is it something that we feel we're missing in our lives? And I know that there's a fine line here because they could technically be the same thing, but at the same time, they could be different things. Here's a for instance. You might think that you're not getting enough sex in your relationship. Now, because of that reason, you might be listening to this and think like, oh, okay, my love language must be physical touch because, this is what I want and this is not what I'm getting. You might be right. But at the same time, it might not be. It also might be quality time. Maybe you're just missing having quality time with your partner. Or maybe it's acts of service. They're not servicing you through an act, so to speak. So this is where you really have to think about this, and you have to dig deep, and you have to figure out what best resonates with you. Now, this might be hard. And I know it's five to choose from, and you're only putting them in order, right? But when you're in the middle of it all, when you're in a relationship, it might be a little bit easier to figure it out because it's right there in front of you. It's someone is actually participating in helping you figure this out, right? But if you are having trouble, and I hate to say this, but there are a whole bunch of online tests that you can take. Now, I mean, it is what it is. They're there. They technically could work. Now, because there are so many different tests online, I would actually recommend that you take a whole bunch of them. Don't just do one. Take a bunch of them. See if the answer ends up being the same. See if, you can agree with the way that they present the information to you. And here's the thing. A lot of these sites, given that the test will be free, they're going to try to sell you some sort of report. I mean, you could do whatever you want with your money. It's your money. Do I think you need this report? No, I don't. I think that with listening to this, taking those tests and all the information that is literally out there for you, that you don't need some report. It is fairly basic stuff for the most part. And I've already mentioned, even explaining the 5 love languages, I'm pretty sure that you have an idea or understand which ones is at least have an idea of which ones best suit you without even digging that far deep. And even then, I'm pretty sure you understand how they work and why they work. So now that you have this information, let's assume you did it. Great. You know what your love languages are. Perfect. Now you can communicate this with others. Okay. Whether it be your partner, whether it be the people that you're dating, whether it be the people that you're talking to and getting to know. This could be even a good conversation to have. And I know that getting to know someone, a lot of people try to stray from having really deep, intense conversations because it might scare people away. But if someone's going to be right for you, having a deep conversation with them should bring you two closer. And we can even use this as an example, right? If you were to have this conversation with someone, and I know this isn't the deepest thing in the world, but having a conversation with someone about this, you're literally teaching each other how you want to be loved and what's the best way to reach your heart and vice versa. And if you truly love someone and, their love language is different from yours, well, you'll probably do it and make an effort to do it and say, hey, wait a minute, you know what? saying this, doing this, acting like this is what shows them that they're valued and that I love them. And if by any chance the person you're talking to doesn't know what their love language is, or your significant other doesn't know what your love language is, well, now you can walk them through the process because you just did it yourself. And granted, maybe they helped you do it. Maybe while you were listening to this, you were listening to this together, or I just gave you the idea of like going down this rabbit hole. And it could be something that the two of you something that the two of you can do together. Right? And this creates a massive awareness so that you both know how to give and receive love to one another. And again, strengthening the relationship. Now, here's the thing. Now that we know what each other's love language is, now that we're able to even talk about it, let's not make this a one and done conversation. Let's make this something that we revisit, whether it be, once every couple of weeks or once a month, or even once every 2 months or 3 months, whatever the case is. But at least revisit this, because here's the thing. As I mentioned before, the love languages could be something that we feel that we're missing in our life. It could be something that we require, or those two things can be the same thing. But as we go through life, and as we have someone, and as we experience the love languages, like, again, being conscious of it, being self-aware of these things, as going through it, they may change. We might come to the realization that, hey, you know what? I originally thought that my love language was physical touch, and it's actually not. It's more about quality time and spending quality time with someone. And having this check-in every so often, we can say like, hey, you know what? I've been appreciating quality time with you more than physical touch. Because like I said, physical touch is not just sex. It's about like holding hands and hugging and putting your arm around someone and things of that nature. So having this check, we can say like, hey, something's changed, or my tastes have evolved. Nonetheless, we can keep ourselves accountable and say like, hey, have I been doing enough so that you feel loved? Have I been doing enough in your love language so that you feel love? Are we essentially keeping our love tanks full so that we can keep our relationship extremely strong? And that's why I really think that we should keep this conversation going and having this check-in. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the end of my notes, at least. And I've been having to actually do research and take notes because, I think this stuff is important to know, though. Like, let's just remember that, again, this isn't the keys to the kingdom. This isn't like the one thing that's going to solve everything. This is just another way to open ourselves up and better communicate with our partners. And I think that's the real takeaway here. It is, again, maybe it's something that we're not familiar with. Maybe it's something that we don't really know. And listening to this, we're figuring it out. Maybe it's something that we did know of, but didn't know a lot about. And now that we do, it is just another way that we can open ourselves up to somebody else. And the more ways that we can do that, the stronger a relationship we will build. And it's literally that simple. This is why I put so much weight onto communication, because even if was it positive affirmations? Yeah, like I can't believe I'm just like drawing a blank, and I've literally just been talking about it. Words of affirmation, Jesus. Even if words of affirmation aren't necessarily our love language, when someone tells you that they love you or that they like you or they appreciate you, it still feels good. And then the whole point of communication is like, hey, you know what? maybe words of affirmation aren't my love language, but you know what is? This is, or that is. And now having these conversations. And again, sometimes it might be hard. You might be with someone already and been with them for quite some time and have no idea about any of this. And now you're bringing it up. And it's like, you know, we do love each other. We've been in a relationship for X amount of years. And now we're learning about this. And it's like, if we just made this small little tweak, our love for each other will grow exponentially. And it's like amazing that, you know, we went this long just the way we are, because maybe it's that we were close, but not close enough. And now with this information, we can be close enough. We can that little extra. And anything that brings us closer makes us stronger. And anything that makes us stronger makes it easier to deal with anything that comes up in life. Because life's not easy. And it's always nice to have someone in your corner and someone who's got your back. Oh, yes. There is something left in my notes. If by any chance this podcast, this one in particular, has triggered something for you or has done something for you, like if you listened to it, went out, talked about it with your partner, talked about it with the person you're dating, and came to this realization and it's helped you out, or if love languages, learning about them has helped you out in the past, I would love to hear about it. So please send me a message. And to do that, all you have to do is go to joeyfrancis.com. That's JOEYFRANCESS.com. And there you can buy my books. Shameless plug, have to do it. And you can also send me a message and tell me how love languages improved your life, your dating life, your relationship life, your dating hygiene. Remember that one from last week? How it improved your dating hygiene. I would love to hear about it. I would love to know, as well as if you have any questions to ask me, if you need some advice, or if you just have a great idea for the next episode of this podcast, please message me. And on that note, love yourself and learn how to love others. See what I did there compared to what I do every other week? Anyways, till next time.